something with this. And here's a whole list of different things that you can create. And you can see recently I used the DOK questions, the lesson plan, and also the presentation. So you choose whatever resource you want. The ones that are starred are the ones that cost extra, that premium plan. But I would say, start testing out now, see if you like it, and it's probably worth the little bit that it costs to upgrade. You are then going to see what I've made with it. Here is a lesson plan. So what I did was I just went to the Brisk Teaching extension and said, you know what, I want a lesson plan on it. You go ahead and you can add any extra information you want here. You're gonna change to whatever grade level you're at, and also how long do you want this lesson to be. I'm a virtual teacher, so I would also add that this is just for virtual students. In creating it, I did not do that the first time because I just wanted to give you an idea of exactly what it looks like. All right, just going back and forth to make sure I don't have anybody, commenting. All right, so going back to this is what it came up with for the subject being biology and that lesson plan having to do with extreme environments and adaptations that I grabbed the information, this article from National Geographic. So this, I would have my students reading this. It comes up with objectives, common core standards, which you may or may not use, materials, what you need to be able to complete this lesson for your students, the procedure, of course, a nice introduction, some reading and discussion. I love that it threw in a group activity and dividing the class into small groups so they can collaborate. And then application and implications, you can lead the class in a discussion. So this is what it created within seconds. Now, as a teacher, and I have my own teaching style, I might not use everything here, but it gives you a really good template and something to pull from. You're not creating from scratch. So let's say you did want to use a specific article that you haven't used yet. This is a great way to figure out some good ways to do that. There's also, you can also do this with YouTube videos. So again, I'm a science teacher, so I'm going to share with what I know. And you can see that all you have to do is grab that Brisk extension on the bottom here, click create, and you can choose whatever you want to be able to create. What I chose was the DOK questions. So it created DOK questions at the different levels. So you've got recall and reproduction, skills and concepts, strategic thinking, and of course, extended thinking. It even gives you some activity ideas that go along with these questions. So again, you might not love all the questions that it created, or you might want to change certain things about it, but gives you that template within seconds to go along with a YouTube video. Let's say that you want to create a quiz that goes along with this YouTube video. Something like, for me, my students are virtual, so I try to use virtual like EdTech type of platforms. So this one, again, you can change that at any time, what you want to Brisk or create. And then you can actually change the language too. So this is great because, anybody who has students that speak multiple languages, or maybe English is not their first language, you can create something in English or in any other language. You can select standards as well. And if you want just common core standards, You can grab them from there. There's also, let's see here, I'm in South Carolina, so let me grab South Carolina science. And it's going to be high school. Earth and space science. So it gives me those standards, and you can decide on which ones you want to choose, but you do need to start a trial to use the standards, but definitely worth doing that. And then let's see here, we want multiple choice. Let's do 5 questions about this. Go to next. I'm gonna create a form. It's just easier for me to send a form instead of a doc to my students. And let's see here. It's brisking it. Whoop, whoop. Okay, give it a little bit of time. I think my internet is a little slow here. Again, I'm away right now in Barbados, so the Wi-Fi comes and goes sometimes. All right, let's sign up for here. Continue. You do need to allow Brisk to be able to create it for you. Okay, let's see here. Sometimes it takes a minute to come out. There we go. And you can see how this is created right before your eyes. Amazing. One thing I would always suggest is to double check the questions and the correct answers, what they put down for the correct answers, as you go through before you send it to students. So once you have everything checked, and you can also give more points or less points to each question if you want to, you can add on at this point. So let's say, oh man, I wanted more than just 5 questions to be made. You can actually add on more multiple choice questions, some short responses, and some long responses. Let's add 2 questions, short response for 9th grades. Christy! I guess maybe I just didn't realize like what link to send. Hi! Okay. I'm assuming you're coming from the YouTube link because I see the little YouTube next to your name. Awesome. Okay, so I'm just showing how to use Brisk to create more questions in a Google form. So I thought I said brisket, but maybe I did not. Or maybe when I jumped over to the other screen, it wasn't happy with me. I kind of wish that StreamYard gave like a little like noise every time someone came in and like commented. That would be cool. Well, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. Well, it created a whole new quiz, which is not what I wanted to do. So what I would do here is just add those to the original quiz. Oh, I did it twice. As you can see, not everything is perfect, but aren't we used to that in the tech world? Again, though, you can just add it to those questions. Now, let's say that I want to send this to my students. You're going to go to send, and you can just include this link. You can shorten the link Super easy. And send that out to them. Oh, thank you, Christy. Yeah, I know that I'm going over a little bit of the same information, but there's so many cool things that Brisk does. Like this is the Canva that I created for that lesson. And I just feel like there's so many different things you can do with it. It's hard to put everything into just half an hour, right? Like you want people to have time to play with it and all of that good stuff. But one of my favorite things, if I'm looking at creating some quick like presentation, there's some slides. This is a great way to do it. And you know how long slides can take to put together. Not that I have them all the time, but I like to provide my students with a resource that goes along with the curriculum. So let's say I wanted to create a presentation about this web page or whatever it is. You can say how many slides you want it to be. You can say with or without images, but if you say with images, you're going to pay for the premium one, which again, it's probably worth it. I just do not have that. Okay, the bugs are getting to me now. All right, life in extreme environments, and you see how beautiful it makes all of these slides within seconds. It's crazy. Okay. And again, with anything that AI creates, always go through it, make sure it's accurate. If you want to change the background and layout at this point, you can. They do have options where you can change the look of it, but I think you have to choose it before jumping in here. So like, let me go back here again. Create. If you go to presentation, you can choose whatever template. There's 6 templates right now. There could be no formatting, and then they've got a few different ones. So let's say I wanted to use the Brisk template. It's going to create something similar, but with a different background. However, you know, with Google Slides, you can just change the template within there too. I wish Google had more options for backgrounds. You can always, I'm pretty sure you can upload them. I just haven't done that myself. I agree with you, Christy. Pretty is underrated. Like we want something that looks good as well as is informative for our students, because they have so much content that they look at every single day. If it's really boring looking, you're going to have them less engaged. That's just what's going to happen. I think we've all been there and done that, right? So let me jump over to the next thing here. I was going to show you that with the lesson plan, it puts it into Google. And yes, you need Chrome. You need to be using Chrome to use Brisk. So if you're using Safari, you're not going to be able to use this. But you can pin it to the top, like so that you always see it, or you can not pin it. I like to pin because I want it to be up there as soon as I open my browser because I use it so much. So let me stop sharing and see what questions we have. Christy, thank you so much for coming in. I'm so excited you're here. Ooh, Slides Mania. I feel like Slides Go is also another one that has got like pre-done template slides that are much prettier than like what I would be able to make. I am not a designer by any stretch of the imagination. And I know we've had this conversation, Christy, about Canva and how wonderful Canva is as well. Anything you create in Google can be taken over to Canva, and you can use Canva as that. I know, who has the time, exactly? Who has the time to be a designer? We don't, but we want our content to look really good for the students. We want it to get them excited, and yes, this is a time saver for sure. Gotta love Brisk. Let me jump into another thing here. Let's see here. Going back to our extreme habitats. I'm going to present again and show you another tool within here. I might have to plug my computer in a second, which is fine. Like, it is what it is. Okay, so going back to this article, we can create translation. So let's say you have students who don't speak English. You can decide to translate this entire thing into their language, which is amazing. This is so helpful for our multi-language students or students that have English as a second language. And it takes that information from the article and it translates it into whatever language you chose. And from what the discussions I've had with my like the Spanish teachers and French teachers that I work with, they said this works really well. The translation is pretty accurate, which is important, right? All right, so there's the entire article within seconds in French. You can also have it translate to a different language. You can make it shorter and have it summarize, or make it longer. You can ask for more detail or less detail. So let's say we want to make it shorter. It's going to add to that document. So it is, you will see that it's been added below as a shorter version. And if you want to make it longer, you can do that as well. Okay. Now, one thing I would like to show you real quick, and I know I showed it to you in the recording, is being able to see how a student actually creates their essay, okay? So let's say I go to Copilot. And that's just, it's like a chat GPT. Hopefully it'll let me in there. Okay, let's sign in. It's taking its time. Okay, it's not letting me do that. I don't want to do that. Okay, I'm gonna go to ChatGPT instead. And I'm gonna tell it to write an essay about the Galapagos Islands. Write a 5-paragraph essay as a 9th grader for about the All right, so what I want to show you here is how it can see exactly what the students did to create their Google Doc. Okay, so they do need to be using Google Doc for you to be able to Brisk it, but let me show you. So let's say I decided I wanted to be super lazy and just copy and paste it over and not even read it. All right, so, and then I decide, okay, I'm gonna hand this in. Well, as a teacher, I open this and I can go to where it says inspect writing. Now this is awesome. And it shows you it was just one paste and one edit. That's it. So you know this might not have been written by them because it's just one paste and one edit. What I would tell my students is to make sure that they do all their editing within the Google Doc. Now, I know that sometimes they're going to copy and paste little parts over and then rewrite it themselves, but you're going to see that if that's the case. So if I took out a few things, all right, let's inspect that writing again. Okay, it's got 11 edits now. So I pasted once, but now I've got 11 edits, and I can see by pressing this play button what actually I did in there, or what, as the teacher, you'd be looking at the way the student put this together, which is mind-blowing to me. Like, that's so crazy. Oh, that's awesome. Yes, email all of the teachers who this will help. Yeah, you can level it by grade level, which I think probably is close to Lexile if you're creating something. You should be able to choose the reading level. I'm not sure exactly where they get their levels though, like if it's Lexile, if it's something else. But that is like everything, like some of the most powerful parts of Brisk. You can also give feedback. So let's say I wanted to give feedback for this. Glow and grow feedback. I want it to be in English and specify focus. Let's say I wanted like what am I going to really focus on here? Understanding. Oops. The importance. All right, let's see what kind of feedback it gives. So glow and grow means that it gives a student the positives, and then it also gives them what they can do in the future to become a better writer or to answer the questions better. And you can see, you can copy all of this, you can insert it, you can go ahead and edit it yourself before sending it to students, which is what I highly suggest. Make sure when you're using any AI, you're always reading everything before sending it to students. But this is amazing that your students can actually get very detailed feedback within seconds that you agree with, that you're like, yes, this is the feedback I would be giving. Awesome. Well, I know we're close to getting to the end, and I need to plug in my computer. So give me just a second while I grab my plug in. This Wi-Fi is taking up a lot of my battery here. Okay. Any other questions? Anybody else jump in and wondering how they can use Brisk? Oh, thank you so much for coming in, Christy. I appreciate it. All right. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.